What's up, y'all? If you're not aware, recently there was a New York City man who couldn't stand the noise of his upstairs neighbor and finally went upstairs to confront him. They got into an argument, as you can see in the video. The neighbor pulled out a knife, or not a knife, excuse me, a pair of scissors, which I don't know what he thought was gonna happen. And while he was being pulled away by, I guess, his wife or something, the initial neighbor, the guy from downstairs, pulled out his gun. And when the guy had his back turned, the man with the gun fired, hitting him and then the man's son as well. So maybe at first you could argue self-defense, but when you shoot a man in his back, there's not much self-defense going on there. And then when you shoot that guy's son, and then when you stand over them execution style and finish the job, that goes your defense right out the window. But it doesn't really matter at this point now, because the police used a license plate reader to find him and his black Honda, which is by itself is dystopian. It's crazy that they could do that. They got him out of the car and spoke to him for a few minutes while they tried to get a search warrant to see if the gun used in the incident was in the car. The police says something went down and they ended up shooting him 4 times. A couple times in the leg, a couple times in the chest, killing him on the street. Now the man's family says this complaint of the noise was going on for over a year and the management of the building knew already this was a thing. But in New York City, noise is not worth killing over. But if it sounds like they're having a whole bowling tournament upstairs, I could see how that could be frustrating for a long time. We have to start using our logical side of our brain and not just our emotional side. But again, after a year or so, at some point you'll get fed up. It's not okay, obviously, but you could understand why you would go up there to confront them. Pulling the gun would have been enough. But the thing is, when you pull a gun, you just escalated the situation. Obviously, coming out with a pair of scissors escalates the situation as well, but pulling a gun escalates it to a whole other level. Because now it's low-key war with your upstairs neighbor. You can't go back from that. You could argue and then go back from that. Scissors, maybe, right? But you pull a gun, it's up from there. So the man who pulled the gun was identified as 47-year-old Jason Pass, a former correctional officer who was fired in 2005 for pulling out a gun on a police officer while he was in corrections, which, you know, you live by the gun, you... All right, anyways, the police letter said that the gun was not, there was no guns registered to him, so he was screwed either way. His defense would have been self-defense, but the video proves that that wasn't the case. And then the gun was illegal, so he had no real defense in this situation. So he would have done a long time regardless, but being killed in the street is always a tough thing, especially because you see how some news outlets cover it. Man died after confrontation with police. I hate when they do that, because he didn't just die. Just like how his neighbors didn't just die, they were killed, he was killed. You can just say that. Yeah, the police fatally shot a suspect. But the thing about that is, police aren't judge, jury, and executioner. They can't just be killing people because they think they did something. Even if he did do something. This is not a defense of him, right? He's not a good guy, obviously. But cops can't just go around killing people, and we can't just sweep that under the rug because, oh, well, he might have did something bad. Well, okay, if he did, arrest him, try him, and let a jury of his peers convict him, and then put him away. That's how that works. We have a system here. It's not just if the cops think you did something wrong, they get to kill you in the street. This isn't a defense to him. It's just, that's not okay. And then license plate readers, that means they didn't even find him. Some automated machine pointed his car out in the street. Like, what type of world do we live in right now? Again, this is not in defense of him. If the police could warrantless just pick people out, there's no end to that. It's a very slippery slope. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Peace.